Have you ever wondered what questions you should be asking people when you're working Medicare leads or you're talking to somebody and trying to help them out with their Medicare health plan? Well, in this video, I'm going to go over exactly the questions that you should be asking in order to help people more effectively. This video is sponsored by none other than Lead Heroes, you guys. Lead Heroes has got you covered when it comes to telemarketed leads and virtual staffing. On the lead side, whether it be Medicare supplement leads, final expense leads, turning 65 leads, they just got something for everybody. They can also actually have you plug in with one of their virtual staff members on the staffing side to where you can pay by the hour for one of their trained and very well vetted staff members to help you out in your business in a virtual assistant format. Just because you watch this video, they're going to give you 10% off any order you make on their website. Link to the site can be found down in the description, so go ahead and check them out. All right, let's jump into which questions that you should be asking when you're helping people with their Medicare health plan, particularly when you're working leads, okay? So these are the questions you should ask. When you're selling insurance, or really when you're selling anything, there's such a thing as a fact find, okay? So you need to be able to ask the appropriate questions to move the conversation and to move everything into the direction of you being able to determine what's going to be the best thing to help this person in their particular situation, okay? And Medicare is no different. There are certain questions that you should be asking. It's a question that I get asked all the time. What question should I be asking to these people given their particular situation? So I'm going to break it down based off of two different scenarios here, okay? So the first scenario we're going to dive into is if somebody is new to Medicare, let's say. So let's say that they've never been onto Medicare before. Maybe they're turning 65. I think in this situation, it's probably going to be the most common that you're dealing with somebody that's turning 65, although you might be dealing with somebody that has postponed their Medicare because they have group health coverage and they don't have to take Medicare at 65. But for these purposes, just for the sake of the time of this video, I'm going to go into it based off of if they're turning 65, okay? So the first question that I want to be asking this person when I'm getting on the phone with them is, when is your birthday? Even if I have their birthday on a lead, sometimes it's not always correct. And I want to make sure that I have the most accurate and up-to-date information as possible. So I'm going to say, when is your birthday? Okay, so let's say their birthday is September 15th. Okay, remember when you're dealing with somebody that's turning 65 and they're getting onto Medicare, they have a window. That window is 3 months before their birth month, the month of their birth month, and 3 months after. That's their IEP. It's a 7-month window in particular. IEP stands for Initial Election Period, okay? And it's essentially when you're getting onto Medicare for the first time. It's when your Medicare Part A and your Medicare Part B start at the same time, and you're able to get a Medicare Advantage plan, a Part D prescription drug plan, or a Medicare supplement plan starting the same day as that Medicare. Most people are going to have that Medicare start on the first of their birth month, and they typically aren't going to try to change that around, although there are some situations where they do, okay? But the first thing we want to do is we want to verify that birthday just to make sure the information that we have on the lead is accurate. And if you don't have the information, even better, because it's information that you're going to need to be able to appropriately and accurately guide this person, okay? So the next question I want to ask is, are you drawing off of Social Security? And I will typically always explain to them why I'm asking this question, and this is the explanation that I'll give. The reason that I'm asking this question is because when you're drawing off of Social Security prior to turning 65, you will automatically be enrolled into Original Medicare, Medicare Parts A and B, without you having to do anything, okay? And this is important because if somebody is drawing off Social Security, maybe they're still working, which we'll get to in a second, and maybe they want to postpone the Medicare. Maybe they don't want the Medicare. And if we know they're automatically going to be enrolled, then we know that that's something that they need to be watching out for. On the flip side, let's say that they do have to take Medicare. Let's say they don't have group health coverage. Let's say, or maybe they don't have good group health coverage and you want to essentially compare their group health coverage and try to beat it, right? You need to know if they need to apply or not. And if they are not drawing off Social Security, then we know that they have to apply for Medicare. The best way to do that is online on ssa.gov, and it's an easy 15-minute process. But if they are drawing off of Social Security, we know that they're automatically going to be enrolled, they're automatically going to get their Medicare card in the mail, and they're automatically going to have their Medicare Part B premium withheld from their Social Security check when that time comes. So this is an important question to ask because when it comes to the point where we're going to be helping this person get onto Medicare, we need to know if it's even something that they need to do when it comes to applying for Original Medicare Part A and B. So I want to know if they're drawing off of Social Security. The next question that I would be asking these people is, are you working? Are you employed? Okay? And the next question I'm going to say is, do you have coverage through your employer? We all know, if you're a Medicare agent and you've been a Medicare agent for any amount of time, that if somebody's working and they have coverage through that current employer and Medicare deems it as credible coverage, they have the ability to postpone their Medicare and take it later with no penalties or punishments of any kind. So I want to know if this is an option for that person. Now, should they keep the employer coverage? Should they get onto Medicare? Well, there's a lot of different variables that are going to go into this. It's going to depend on how much they're paying for their group health coverage. Maybe they're paying $100 a month and it's just them. Well, they're going to be paying at least that with the Medicare Part B premium by getting onto Medicare, right? But let's say they're paying $400 a month for their group health plan. Maybe they're paying $300 a month for their group health plan. Also, what we want to know is, how good is that coverage? Do they have a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 medical deductible right off the bat? What does the coverage look like? So it's not to say that they should always postpone the Medicare or they should always take the Medicare. It's going to be taken on a case-by-case basis because all group health plans are specifically designed for that group, right? And some groups are bigger than others. They're all individually created and individually designed. Some are better than others, and they're certainly not all created equal. So this is a very much an important thing that you want to know, because you want to know if this is an option for them. Do they have this as an option? Now, if they do have group health coverage, we want to know, how many dependents do they have? Do they have a spouse that's a few years younger that's being covered? Do they have children on it? Do they have grandchildren on it? How many dependents do they have? This is going to help you see everything from a much wider scope of kind of what the situation is looking like, so that way you can make a better recommendation, a better determination of what you would advise this person. If there's variables, you have to know all the variables to solve the equation. Recommending a plan is no different, okay? So we want to know that. We want to know how good the coverage is, and so on and so forth. Now, if they don't have a group employer health plan, let's say they're working, but they have marketplace coverage. Well, that's fine, because the coverage does not come through the employer. If it's not being provided through the employer, it doesn't matter if you're working. You're going to have to take Medicare, otherwise you're going to get a late enrollment penalty, okay? So these are the questions I'm going to ask people when they're new to Medicare to help me determine within the first couple of minutes if I can help them, and also which direction we want to go and kind of what their situation is, right? Because everybody's situation might be a little bit different, and you need to know these things before you waste a bunch of time talking to this person and spending 30, 45 minutes with them. You should be able to get this information within 3 to 5 minutes, and you'll have a very, very good idea of what the person's situation is by asking the right questions, okay? Now let's talk about somebody that's already on Medicare. We're approaching AEP right now, October 15th through December 7th, the annual election period, where people can make changes to their plans, particularly Medicare Advantage plans and also Part D prescription drug plans for the most part. You end up encountering a lot of people that are already on Medicare, and so we want to be able to ask them the appropriate questions as well to help determine if we can help these people right off the bat. Remember, insurance sales is an efficiency game. It's a volume game, and so it's very important that you don't waste time on people that you can't help. And I can't stress that enough. There's so many people that don't find out that they can't help somebody until they're 45 minutes into a call. That should never be you. You should always be able to determine that very, very quickly, quick, fast, and in a hurry, and that way you're not wasting their time and you're not wasting your time as well. So the first question I'm going to be asking these people is, are you already on Medicare? Now, for the most part, everybody you talk to, if you're working leads, is probably already going to be on Medicare, but it's something I just want to confirm, because once in a blue moon you might get somebody that maybe was inaccurately filed, or you got a lead and you weren't supposed to, or it was a dummy lead, or whatever the case might be. I want to confirm they're already on Medicare, okay? 99% of the time they're going to say yes. But it also gets them in a psychological standpoint of saying yes, right? I want to hear them say yes as much as possible, because that just warms things up for that conversation, okay? So are you already on Medicare? Yes. Do you know if you have a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan? Now, this question a lot of times might seem counterproductive, because most seniors don't know the difference between Medicare Advantage and Medicare supplement. Most seniors think that every plan they have is a Medicare supplement, even if they have a Medicare Advantage plan. But this paints the picture in their mind that there are a couple of different options and there are differences. Now, if they come back and they know, great, you can kind of move forward with kind of identifying what they have. You can't determine if you can help them until you find out what they already have, so you can compare apples to apples, so you can really analyze and size up the situation and see if you can actually provide a superior option to what they currently have, okay? Now, if they don't know, there's some follow-up questions you can ask to kind of determine what it is that they have. So I would say, the next thing I would ask is, do you pay a premium, right? Do you pay a premium for your plan? Of course, we all know if they're paying a monthly premium, then it might be an Advantage plan, but chances are it's going to be a low premium or no premium at all for an Advantage plan. If it's $100 a month, $150 a month, chances are it's a Medicare supplement. Now, oftentimes people will give you the Medicare Part B premium, and they'll say, I'm paying $170. If that's the case, you want to be like, are you sure that's not your Medicare Part B premium? You want to make sure that you get the most accurate information out of this conversation as possible, okay? The next thing I'm going to be asking them is, once we've identified if it's a supplement or Advantage plan, if we're able to get that far, most people, if you ask the right questions and you ask these questions, you should be able to isolate this and determine this, okay? But the next thing I'm going to ask is, do you know the carrier that you currently have? I want to find out what they currently have. Not oftentimes they're going to know, and if you're selling in your local market in particular and you know your plans inside and out, as you should when you're working leads, it's going to help you be much more dangerous out there in the field. You're going to be able to know exactly which plan they have. You're going to instantly know its strengths, its weaknesses, and then you're going to be able to size up the situation and move forward to see if you can make an analysis that's going to provide them potentially a better option. You can do prescription drug comparisons from there. You can talk, and a question that I've always liked is there any area of your plan that you wish was better? That's a powerful question. Is there any area of your plan right now that you feel like the coverage is lacking that you feel like could be better? Maybe it's dental. Maybe it's hearing coverage. Maybe it's vision coverage. Maybe they have too high of copays. Maybe it's the premium on the med sup side. There's always something someone would like to see be better, and chances are there's an option that you have in your portfolio as a broker that's going to allow you to maybe remedy that situation, okay? So anyway, guys, these are some questions that I ask people, that I train my agents to ask people when they're calling leads in particular different situations. I hope this helps you. I hope it helps you know kind of where to guide the conversation as we go into AEP. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this type of content, do me a favor, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It helps so many agents like you who need to hear this information find it easier. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts. If there's any questions that, if you're a seasoned veteran, that you would recommend people asking, we'd love to kind of hear them as well. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified when we upload. And until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. Here's to your success and your abundance. Thanks, guys.